The story of Joseph, from the pit to the palace. The beloved son. Long ago in the land of Canaan lived a man named Jacob, who had 12 sons. Among them, his favorite was Joseph, the son of his beloved wife Rachel. Joseph was different from his brothers not just in looks, but in heart. He was kind, honest, and deeply faithful to God. Because Jacob loved Joseph so much, he made him a beautiful coat of many colors. When his brothers saw it, jealousy burned in their hearts. They hated Joseph, for they could see that their father loved him more than all the others. One night, Joseph had a dream. He excitedly told his brothers, "We were tying up bundles of grain in the field. Suddenly my bundle stood up, and your bundles gathered around mine and bowed down to it." His brothers were furious. "Do you think you will reign over us? Do you think you will rule us?" Soon Joseph had another dream. "The sun, moon, and 11 stars bowed down to me," he said. Even his father Jacob was surprised, saying, "Will your mother and I and your brothers actually come and bow down to you?" But deep in his heart, Jacob wondered if perhaps this dream meant something from God. Betrayed by his brothers. One day, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers who were tending sheep far away. When the brothers saw Joseph coming, wearing his colorful coat, their jealousy grew into hatred. "Here comes the dreamer," they said. "Let's kill him and see what becomes of his dreams." But Reuben, the eldest, said, "Don't kill him. Throw him into this pit instead." They stripped Joseph of his coat and threw him into a dark, empty pit. As they sat to eat, a caravan of Ishmaelite traders passed by on their way to Egypt. Judah, another brother, said, "Let's sell him to the Ishmaelites instead of killing him. After all, he is our brother." So they sold Joseph for 20 pieces of silver, and he was taken to Egypt as a slave. When Reuben returned and saw that Joseph was gone, he tore his clothes in grief. The brothers dipped Joseph's colorful coat in goat's blood and took it to their father. Jacob saw it and cried out, "It is my son's coat. A wild beast has devoured him." Jacob mourned deeply for many days, refusing to be comforted. Joseph in Egypt. In Egypt, Joseph was sold to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, the captain of the guard. Though Joseph was a slave, God was with him. Everything Joseph did succeeded. The house prospered because of him. Potiphar saw this and made Joseph the overseer of his entire household. But one day, Potiphar's wife noticed Joseph's handsome looks and tried to tempt him to sin. "Come and lie with me," she said. But Joseph refused. "How can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?" She tried again and again, but Joseph stayed faithful. One day, she grabbed his cloak, but Joseph ran away, leaving it in her hands. Angry and humiliated, she falsely accused him, saying, "This Hebrew slave tried to attack me." Potiphar was furious and threw Joseph into prison. From prisoner to dream interpreter. Even in prison, God was with Joseph. The prison keeper saw that Joseph was wise and trustworthy, and soon he put Joseph in charge of all the other prisoners. One day, Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker were thrown into prison. Both had strange dreams, and Joseph noticed their sadness. Interpretations belong to God, Joseph said. "Tell me your dreams." The cupbearer said, "In my dream, a vine with 3 branches budded and bore ripe grapes, and I squeezed them into Pharaoh's cup." Joseph replied, "The 3 branches are 3 days. In 3 days, Pharaoh will restore you to your position." The baker shared his dream. "There were 3 baskets of bread on my head, and birds ate from them." Joseph said sadly, "The 3 baskets are 3 days. In 3 days, Pharaoh will hang you, and the birds will eat your flesh." Everything happened exactly as Joseph said. Before the cupbearer was freed, Joseph said, "Remember me when you are restored to Pharaoh." But the cupbearer forgot Joseph. Pharaoh's dream. 2 full years later, Pharaoh had 2 troubling dreams. In one, 7 fat cows were eaten by 7 thin cows. In the other, 7 healthy ears of grain were swallowed by 7 thin, scorched ones. None of Pharaoh's wise men could interpret them. Then the cupbearer remembered Joseph. "There was a young Hebrew in prison who interpreted my dream and it came true." Pharaoh ordered Joseph to be brought before him. After shaving and changing his clothes, Joseph stood before the ruler of Egypt. Pharaoh said, "I have heard that you can interpret dreams." Joseph replied, "I cannot do it, but God will give Pharaoh the answer he desires. Joseph explained the dreams. The 7 fat cows and 7 good ears are 7 years of abundance. The 7 thin cows and scorched ears are 7 years of famine. God is showing Pharaoh what he is about to do. Joseph then gave wise advice. Appoint a wise man to store up grain during the 7 good years, so there will be food during the 7 years of famine. Pharaoh saw that the Spirit of God was in Joseph and said, "Since God has shown you all this, there is no one as wise as you. You shall be over my house. Only in the throne will I be greater than you." Joseph became ruler of all Egypt, second only to Pharaoh. The famine and the reunion. During the 7 years of abundance, Joseph stored vast amounts of grain. When the famine came, it spread over all lands even to Canaan, where Jacob and his sons lived. Jacob said to his sons, "Go to Egypt and buy grain, so we may live and not die." When the brothers arrived, they bowed before Joseph just as he had dreamed long ago, but they did not recognize him. Joseph, however, knew them. He spoke harshly at first, testing them to see if they had changed. He accused them of being spies and demanded they bring their youngest brother, Benjamin, to prove their honesty. The brothers were terrified. "This is because of what we did to Joseph," they said to one another, not knowing Joseph understood them. Joseph turned away and wept. When they returned with Benjamin, Joseph's heart overflowed with love. After testing them again and seeing their repentance, Joseph could no longer hide his identity. He cried out, "I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?" His brothers were speechless, trembling in fear. But Joseph said gently, "Do not be afraid. You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to save many lives." He forgave them completely and embraced them all with tears. The restoration. Joseph invited his entire family to live in Egypt, in the land of Goshen, where they prospered. Jacob rejoiced when he saw his son again, saying, "Now I am ready to die, since I have seen your face and know you are alive." Years later, when Jacob died, the brothers again feared Joseph might take revenge. But Joseph said, "Do not be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." Joseph lived to see his children and grandchildren, and before he died, he made the Israelites swear that when God brought them back to the promised land, they would carry his bones with them, a sign of faith that God's promises never fail. Moral and reflection. Joseph's story is one of faith, forgiveness, and divine purpose. Though betrayed, enslaved, and imprisoned, Joseph never lost hope in God. His trials prepared him for greatness, showing that even the darkest moments can lead to divine destiny. For all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. Romans 8:28.